What's up, guys? So yeah, read the title. This is piggybacking off of our chat yesterday, basically using the YouTube Live platform to talk about some of the stuff that's going on in the MMA community. And lately, just Google UFC news and you'll see what pops up. We're going to continue our conversation about the James Krause situation, the Glory MMA situation, and we're going to add a little bit of flavor with this. We're going to use Reddit. If you guys are unfamiliar with Reddit, it's, toxic as hell, but it's good entertainment. So today we're just going to go, Reddit's not always negative. Usually it is. All you have to do is go to their site. You don't have to subscribe to it, and just type in James Krause and watch what comes up. And that's all I've done. And I'm going to go to their latest thread. And it's something to think about. I was talking with one of my clients today, though, about what consequences there should be or systems in place for situations like this, because it comes down to getting past the gambling, getting past the idea that it's your own fighter, it's your own horse in the race, and just focusing more on the integrity of the sport. That's where this issue is hotbed. That's where the importance lies, is because the integrity of the sport. The UFC, the Nevada Gaming Commission, is going to do anything they can to mitigate situations such as this. But neither one of us, you guys, me, are those people. So we're going to talk about what Reddit has to say. Fucking funny. So if you go to Reddit, just type in James Krause. The first thing that comes up, and that's the one we're going to start with. Miles Johns says the UFC suspended James Krause from cornering him. It's what we spoke about yesterday. What I didn't do yesterday, though, is read some of the comments. And so Glory Hole MMA, obviously, that's not too original. That's making fun of the gym's name, Glory. Not too good there. Your dedicated Krause hating is finally paying off, commenting at the person who wrote that. The thing about Krause, if you're an MMA fighter, UFC fighter, it's when he first, as a fighter, subpar guy, he was one of these, not that athletic, big for the division when he fought at 55. He's fought at 70 before. He might have fought at middleweight before, but as an athlete, nothing he does jumps off the screen at you. He's not like a five-tool athlete, not the fastest, not the sort of most athletically inclined fighter. But when he started coaching, I think people started seeing his visceral nature. He does have a high fight IQ, and you started seeing fighters coming through the ranks from his gym. Now, what we'll do another video on is the record of those fighters, which isn't, it's tough coming from a non-main gym, your American Top Teams, your Sanford MMAs, the big gyms that are known and have, over a decade of fighters and experience and belts on the wall. Glory's not one of those gyms. It's literally a grassroots project spearheaded by Krause. Now, that being said, when you watch him corner, he's very animated. He's very hands-on with his fighters, talks a lot. And because of that, the MMA community was either on his side or is either on his side or not on his side. And a lot of times, because it's so catty, anything in the mainstream, any entertainment sector, all it takes is one sort of piece of drama to come out and you lose a lot of fans. And a lot of people who maybe weren't commenting on your work will come out the woodwork to pile on. And I want to make clear that's not what I'm doing here. I'm just making it known on sort of yesterday was about the topic. Today is about what the fans are saying. So multiple sources told ESPN that the UFC denied credentials to Coach James Krause, who's expected to be in the corner of Miles Johns. We talked about that yesterday on the November 5th fight. Now, here's one of the comments from the Hardcore Casual. How big of a scumbag you have to be to convince your ACL-torn fighter, Derek Minner, to go into a fight, then tell the Discord you're getting thousands of dollars from to bet on him losing. Then in the fight, he completely shreds his knee within a minute, possibly never being the same fighter, let alone person ever again. James Krause, and I quote, is the ultimate douche, narcissist, piece of shit in this sport that's not Dana and deserves everything coming to him. Now, pretty harsh words, and it goes back to in 440 people liked that comment, and it goes back to what I said about when the masses either love you or hate you, and if you're on the fence, it's usually one of these scenarios where all it takes is some sort of negative press to come out for people to pile on. Is this piling on? I don't think so. Coming from a purist perspective, my perspective, I think that the sport has no place for coaches or any staff thinking that they're bigger than the sport. It's not a team sport. It's all about the fighter. It should always be about the fighter. It should never be about the trainer. And sometimes when you look at these corners, that kind of gets lost in the mix. It should always be about the athlete, the man in the arena, the fighter who chooses to go inside that ring and that octagon in this case and fight. It should be about them. It should never be about the coach. And in this case, you see Discord is an app, a platform that Krause was telling people bets. And this is one of the ways that he has grown his social media following by hosting a gambling show. When you add that, when you add the betting, when you add the gambling, when you add his sort of approach to the fight game, not really about his fighters, especially online when he's the message in his brand, it doesn't take a lot of work to see that his message and brand isn't really about his fighters. It's about him. So when you add all that stuff in and then you start hearing about this stuff with Minner, it's no wonder that these comments are coming out. Let's read a couple more. It's got to be bad for the UFC to suspend him. That's right. Could it be the NSAC, the Nevada Sporting Athletic Commission? Genuine asking, of course. Is this the guy that has rumors with Lorisenko? That's a whole nother conversation. We talked about that briefly yesterday, and it's not a rumor. That came out with one of the fighters who went to Glory, Megan Anderson. She had a championship title camp there. Didn't have a lot of good things to say about Krause. And in the comments section on one of her Twitter lives, somebody brought Krause up or having an affair, and then she just simply commented, well, that's something you should ask Senko, referencing the UFC commentator Lorisenko. So that's a whole nother thing. This guy, I assume more stuff is going to come out. Heard he was betting both ways. Shitty guy. So he was betting on the winners and the losers. Read the Twitter. It shall reveal what's alleged. What does it say? He's under suspicion of illegal betting. We knew that. Actually shorter than telling people to look it up themselves. F. James Krause. Okay, Lorisenko. We'll read one more. He might have bet or does bet on his fighters, and I guess the thought from there is he then corners them differently based on the bet, and that's the issue. Unsure. I imagine if he always bets on for them to win, there's no issues. I think that's a pretty acceptable precedent in this day and age with like Mayweather always betting on himself. Now let's stop there. That's totally different. That's not a fighter betting on himself. This isn't that. This is a coach in a gym betting on a fighter that he has in the race. It's so different to the fighter himself betting on himself. So I disagree with that comment. Mayweather can put as much money as he wants on himself, and I think any fighter should bet on themselves. You don't get into this game to lose. It's not the coach, though, because then you have to think about strategy, game planning, fight camp. You then also have to think about the advice that you're getting and giving within the fight between the rounds. And I'm waiting for something to come out. I know I brought this up yesterday. Someone's going to put together a video, a compilation of some of Krause's cornering, because there's a lot of people out there before all this drama came out that were speaking about Krause's cornering being suspicious. A lot of people were wondering why people were like, he's so high regarded. He's a smart guy, but they were using sort of some of his tactics within the fight to back their questioning of, maybe he's not that good of a coach. Now, with that being said, it's just going to be interesting to see how this stuff plays out. Over time, I'm sure more stuff will come out. We'll see if there's any prudence to it. I heard that they've banned all gambling, including fighters gambling on themselves. I don't agree with that. I think a fighter should have the opportunity to bet on themselves to win, and obviously not to throw fights. But I am on the side that coaches, camps, and gyms, I mean, it's like insider trading, in the stock market. There's a reason Nancy Pelosi is worth $400 million, and her salary is $200K. Insider trading. She should be in prison. That's a whole nother rant. No wonder she just resigned. 1,000 years old. But look into this. Do some of your own research. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment below. Do you think that fighters should be allowed to gamble on themselves? Yes or no? And how do you think this will play out?